This is Valley News Live at noon.
We begin with breaking news. 21 people aboard a plane survived a fiery crash. Reports about it came within the last hour. Now, it happened near an airport in Waller County, Texas. You can see a live look right now. The Department of Public Safety says that one person was taken to the hospital with back injuries. Now, new at noon, the University of North Dakota student pilot that was killed in a plane crash near Buxton last night has now been identified. The North Dakota Highway Patrol says the crash happened in a field near 11th Street Northeast and 165th Avenue Northeast. UND has identified the student in the crash as John Hauser from Chicago, Illinois. It is still unclear what caused the plane to crash. I-94 East is clear now after a crash between a semi and a car caused traffic backups. The call came in just before 8 this morning. The crash happened on the Red River Bridge, and viewer photos show some serious damage to a car and front end damage to the semi. A man who was in custody after a deadly shooting in Castleton yesterday is out of jail. That came after a review of evidence, witness statements, and conferring with the Cass County State's Attorney's Office. He's the person who called in the shooting early yesterday morning. The Cass County Sheriff's Office is planning a news conference at 2 this afternoon to provide an update on the case. And we do plan on streaming it on our website at valleynewslive.com. North Dakota Game and Fish wants your help solving a poaching case near Castleton. They say this young buck was shot sometime this last weekend at the Cass County Wildlife Gun Range. And if you have any information on this case, you are expected to call authorities. You can remain anonymous and still be eligible for a reward. Well, it's definitely a much cooler start to the day, and you can look at it's cloudy and the wind's blowing. So let's check in with Summer Schmelbach to see what to expect. Hey, Summer.
Yeah, Brian, I captured a time lapse this morning in Grand Forks. Very gray, very breezy, big change from what we saw yesterday with sunny skies, temperatures in the 70s to near 80. It's more of a fall-like day today, and it's all thanks to this cold front that's sliding across the region, increasing our clouds and wind behind it. But ahead of it, notice we're still seeing some sunny skies, and it's not quite as windy ahead of that front either. But behind it, those winds are gusty. We have a gust right now to 30 miles per hour in Oaks. 37-mile-per-hour gust recently clocked in Langdon, 29-mile-per-hour gust out of the north in Grand Forks. Temperatures are, again, much cooler. We're warmer in the 60s for Fergus Falls with that sunny sky, but more changes coming ahead. Brian, I'll have hour-by-hour details on a chance for some rain and a hard freeze in just a few minutes.
Not so excited about the hard freeze.
No.
Thanks, Summer. Well, Tim Walsh has announced he will run for re-election in 2022, and he says he'll once again run with Peggy Flanagan as his running mate. Walsh says during the unprecedented challenges of the past 2 years, he's seen Minnesotans from all walks of life come together to fight the virus, save lives, and get the state on the path to recovery. He says he and Flanagan are not done with their work yet and are excited to continue the fight. Well, it may take Santa a little more than 9 reindeers and a sleigh to deliver gifts from his North Pole this year. Toys that have already been made are caught up in a global supply chain gridlock that could keep them off shelves until next year. Vanessa Yorkovic has the story.
In this small New Jersey office, a Herculean attempt is underway. It's the unofficial logistics center for Carrera Revel, working desperately to get their toys into the U.S. in time for this holiday season.
Okay, just giving you an update on the container situation in the moment.
President Frank Thiessen is manning the operation.
Had you ever worked in logistics before?
Only peripherally, not directly.
Why did you have to get directly involved into logistics?
Because of the global supply chain challenges that we are facing.
Cargo vessels, order numbers, and arrival dates, all tracked with precision.
Pretty much the first thing in the morning is really checking the backlog in the warehouse.
Boxes of toys of the well-known slot car maker are stuck in their warehouses in China, waiting for a ride.
We still have about 25-30 containers which are just missing, which will not be here.
That's 30% of their holiday product. Just one of many companies dealing with a supply chain nightmare. With port congestion, containers shipped in May are just arriving to Carrera Revel's U.S. warehouse in Atlanta, 5 months behind schedule.
We have seen such a surge in the last 90 days.
Angela Higgs runs the freight forwarding company for Carrera Revel, tasked with receiving the toys and getting them out to retailers as quickly as possible.
It's been one delay after another, and we, of course, been pushing and pushing and pushing, but these delays are inevitable right now.
With nearly every U.S. port facing a backlog, the warehouse is using all of them, piecing together a working supply chain.
We're just going everywhere we can. Otherwise, these goods are not going to get to the stores, and I'm not going to have anyone missing out on their toys this season.
To try to help with that, President Biden announced 2 major ports in California will move to operate 24/7. But for Thiessen, the problem now moves from the sea to the land.
Does that help you guys?
No, it doesn't help. It just doesn't alleviate the problem, which we then have once the containers are all from board. There are not enough trucks, there are not enough freight trains to move the containers inland.
There are currently about 200,000 containers still sitting on ships with nowhere to offload. Well, the New York Times is reporting that the FDA is on the verge of allowing people to get different COVID-19 booster shots than their original COVID vaccinations. The move is of particular interest for people with the J&J vaccine, after one small study showed those people had higher immune responses when they got a second dose from the Moderna or Pfizer vaccines.
I think what the FDA is going to say is they're going to make it easy. You can get a different booster if you want, but we're going to recommend staying with the same brand if you can.
An FDA official hinted at the move during a hearing Friday where an independent advisory committee approved a second dose for people with the J&J vaccine. 15%. That's how many people 65 and up have gotten a COVID-19 booster. The FDA has recommended booster doses for people who are most vulnerable, including that age group along with people at high risk of severe disease and those who live or work in high-risk environments. The latest booster push comes after the news that former Secretary of State Colin Powell died from COVID-19 complications. He was fully vaccinated and was scheduled to get a booster dose this week, but the 84-year-old had a number of conditions that put him at a higher risk. Well, coming up at news, Zillow says they are not buying any more houses for the rest of the year. Make sure you stay tuned to hear the reasoning behind it. Plus, more cool wind and cloudy conditions today. Summer Snowbach has what to expect. That's next.